lives back together, still trying to get housed. This is the Hope Gap, and it's real. Where is it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eden fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in to First Things First with the Queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing every day has got to be prayer. Giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to do. This is a Wealth Building Wednesday, and the way things go on this day, hour one, we look local. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. Top off the hour with a wealth building spotlight on a business or businesses. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic or a person of interest. Today, we are on point with all of that. And we'll be hearing from Dr. Allison Powell Hicks, who is a psychologist and an author. She is, among other things, the author of something called The Problem with Pretty, and she will be joining me in studio. Looking forward to that. Right now, though, my friend and colleague is on the line, calling from Texas. She is the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. She is lead organizer for BLM Los Angeles, a professor at Cal State LA, a mother of three, and a union leader. Oh, and of course, as I always note, the international and intergalactic president of the Prince Fan Club. Dr. Melina Abdullah, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Dominique. I'm actually back in LA, got back at midnight.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you for tapping in early this morning with no sleep. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I had a hard time sleeping last night because I was very, 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 very sad about the Karmelo Anthony case, the verdict, the sentence, just everything about it was making me sad. And you were there. I mean, you've been there throughout the trial. You've been there even before the trial. How are you doing this morning, and what's the mood like there on the ground?
I'm usually able to stay in my head and be strategic. That's one of the things I kept talking about to the folks who were on the ground, is the importance of us being intentional and strategic, because there were a lot of emotions over the last 2 weeks. And last night I broke. My heart, and I think about like how heartbroken I feel, and what does that mean for his parents and him. I think about, my son is 16 years old, and he's tried out for the track team, and what does it mean to take a child? Karmelo was a child, and this boy should be coming home from college right now, his freshman year in college. He should be being celebrated right now. His parents did everything right. They're raising their children to be beautiful human beings, and Karmelo is a beautiful human being with a 3.8 grade point average, a 2-sport athlete. He's funny and kind and polite. That's how everyone describes him. And this child spent his first night in an adult prison last night. And I can't imagine the pain and heartbreak of his parents, who invested so much in raising their children to be the beautiful human beings that they turned out to be. So I don't know, more than anger and strategy, I just feel very heartbroken.
Yeah, same. And the thing about it is, for me, it's a combination of rage. Rage and heartbreak, which is not a good combination. But yeah, I also have a young college age kid, but I think, I don't know. I know you go through this a lot, because you help so many families across the country whose children's lives are stolen by police violence or white supremacists. And in this case, the young child is the young teenager is still with us, and it's enraging, because for those who are not following the case, this is a young kid. He was 17 at the time, who was being bullied by these twin white boys that are like 200 plus pounds. He's about 150 pounds. And, from what I've been reading a lot about this case. There's different accounts that say it wasn't just the two boys. There were a bunch of other white kids around. I think about being in high school. You know who the bullies are. You know how people come at you, what their reputations are. So you think people say, "Oh, why didn't he walk away? It was just too good." No, they put hands on him. There was a crowd around. It was a track meet, and he was an athlete. He had a right to be there. So, but yet he knows who those kids are. So when they put hands on him, he was probably terrified. The guy puts hands on him. He allegedly goes in his backpack, gets a knife, stabs the guy once, and runs away. And the kid dies, and now he's being charged as an adult. I guess in Texas they consider 17-year-olds adults, but they're not. And then the guy dies, and they charge him with first-degree murder, and they seem to have activated white supremacists from all over the country, threatening the family. The family has to relocate because they're being threatened. And activists, I guess, supporters of the family from the community and from organizations like BLM Grassroots are supporting him on the ground. And yesterday he was found guilty of first-degree murder. by a jury with no black people on it, and sentenced to 35 years, which is quite a long sentence. This is a child with no prior contact with the law whatsoever, a kid who's got 2 jobs, a 3-point, and it kind of makes me mad, Doc, that our children have to be perfect to even get consideration, and they still are demonized and criminalized. I mean, this kid is nearly perfect. I don't know anybody with a kid that perfect. 2 jobs, a 3.8, saved another kid's life one time, and yet he gets the book thrown at him. Meanwhile, a whole family of grown adults can chase down a 14-year-old and murder him, and they get a pass. They get no, in the case of Cyrus, Belton Carmack.
Yeah. It's, when we think about what happened, right? This child was, the story that you're sharing is really important to remember, that he was sitting under a tent during a rainstorm at a track meet. He was actually what started coming out, and the entire setup of the trial, it was bad from the beginning, right? The setup of the trial was bad from the beginning. There were no cameras allowed in the courtroom. They only had space for about 20 folks in the courtroom. They said that you couldn't get to the courthouse prior to 6 a.m. There was a curfew from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. that you weren't allowed to be in the courthouse property until 6 a.m. But somehow there were people who were always there and said that they were there at 1 a.m. How did you get to be there at 1 a.m. when nobody else was allowed on the property? So there was really no space in the courtroom for real observation. What we did have is a few folks who were able to get inside and would come outside during the lunch breaks and after the trial proceedings to update those of us. And there were, dozens and dozens of us outside, really kind of holding vigil for Karmelo. And we learned a bunch of things. One, we learned that Karmelo was summoned over to the tent to sit there, which is common practice. You don't just let people stand in a rainstorm. There was space for him. He was sitting there. He was talking to people who knew them. We know high school athletes pretty much know each other. And he was approached by these boys and their friends and surrounded, and they intentionally used grainy video that zoomed out and didn't show everything. And the so-called expert on the video said that the state told him to only talk about certain parts of the video. It was a setup from the beginning. It was a setup when we talk about a jury that has no black people, and the black people who were potential jurors were dismissed for things like being teachers. That's what dismissed them from the jury, right? It was a setup when you have a right-wing Republican judge who, if you go to the website, the re-election website of John D. Roach Jr., he talks about how conservative he is, conservative being code for racist, right? When you think about the gag order that was placed on the family where they couldn't speak for themselves, but there was all kinds of stuff all over media, including when you talk about white supremacists, the most visible and vocal white supremacists had all kinds of information and were using their cameras to really stir up issues for Karmelo's family, but also for black people across this country. It was just a setup from the beginning, and it's the meaning of the whole system is guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to, of course, talk more about this and what can be done and the rumors and all kinds of stuff that's swirling around about this. The vitriol online of people attacking a child is mind-blowing to me. Dr. Melina Abdullah is my guest. You're welcome in at 800-920 if you have a question or comment. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions. This is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
we're on the countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is the job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
We're back to Dr. Melina Abdullah, and you're certainly invited into the YouTube conversation. Always a lot going on in there. It's at youtube.com, KBLA 1580. Talking about right now the teenager, Karmelo Anthony, 17 at the time of the incident, now 19, remanded immediately into custody. That must be a Texas thing. I've never seen sentencing happen so fast. And the jury deliberated for a couple of hours at the most, and then comes with this verdict. They could have chosen manslaughter. They could have chosen not guilty, but they chose first-degree murder, which is something that I just cannot get my mind around, considering that cops all the time say I feared for my life when they're professionally trained to defend themselves and they have weapons. And most of the time they say that they're going up against unarmed people, sometimes children. In this case, you had a child who was being threatened, menaced. And I was always taught that if somebody puts their hands on you, you're allowed to defend yourself. But apparently,
and by all accounts, right?
But not apparently
by
if you're
all
black.
Accounts,
yeah,
right. By all accounts, Karmelo said, "Don't put your hands on me." By all accounts, he asked them to leave him alone, and they did not. By every single account, including the Metcalf twins' friends, all testified to that. I also don't understand. The twin brother was subpoenaed to testify for the defense, and he didn't show. In fact, he wasn't in the courthouse at all. And I don't understand how you can choose to not respond to a subpoena. You can choose to not. I don't understand that. Maybe I'm missing something there. The rumor is it's because they're so big that they didn't want the jury to see the contrast between Karmelo's size and the boy's size, and how he must have felt having them loom over him and threaten him. But the whole system is guilty. Yeah.
I also read that they have a reputation as bullies, and they were afraid that if they put the twin brother on the stand, that might come out, that they were feared by other children, not just black children, like all children at the school. We all, we've all been to high school. There's people that have that reputation. They will beat you up, they will. So, and I think the size too. I noticed the media in the beginning, they showed that scary looking picture of Austin Metcalf, the one who died. And he does look scary. He looks like a teen movie villain. And then after a while, they swapped out to younger pictures of him where he looks smaller and he has longer hair and he looks more, like a teen idol. And it was, that was widely used, and they used a very close-up picture of Karmelo with a distressed look on his face where you can't tell the size differential. In fact, it makes it look like he's bigger.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is the whole system being guilty, right? That every single component of it, the court system, I keep thinking of, what was that movie, A Time to Kill, right? I keep thinking about the Matthew McConaughey speech at the end, that if the roles had been reversed and Karmelo had been part of a group that was bullying a white boy, that white boy wouldn't have even been arrested. He wouldn't have even been arrested. He would have been being treated for trauma. He wouldn't have been brought to trial. There's no way murder charges would have ever even been considered, right?
Yeah.
But Karmelo, every single system, the system of policing, we haven't even talked about. Why did the school system, why did the coaches allow this to happen? How are they not liable for not intervening, right?
Yeah.
There should be, every single system failed Karmelo or did what it does to black children. What I keep thinking about is this is the state of Texas. And so when we say he had the right to defend himself, one, I say he was forced to defend himself, right? He shouldn't have even had to do that. I think about the again, trauma that he's carrying around. But in the state of Texas, the right to defend yourself is embedded into the fabric of the state.
But we know that stand your ground is only for white people. I mean, I think that's been really well established by precedent. I mean, I can't think of one single stand your ground case where it fell in the favor of somebody black.
Right. And I think what it is, and this is what I want to implore us to do, is this case is so stark, and I think it captured everyone's heart. You know, I keep hearing mothers talk about this mama's heart, right? It captured our hearts because we're like, well, maybe because Karmelo is so clean and so pure and so good, maybe because it's so apparent that this is a grave injustice that he's even on trial, maybe we'll get justice through a system that continues to prove that it's racist. Maybe we'll see a little bit of hope that it's redeemable. And it's irredeemable. This is not a redeemable system.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions for you in the chat, so we'll get to those after news, traffic, and sports. I don't think we can squeeze anything in. We just got a minute here. But surely there's things that we can do. Do we know if there is a chance for appeal here?
There is a million chances for appeal. I'm not a lawyer. I did study public law. Appeal can be based on questions of law, not questions of fact, questions of law. The way the case was carried out, the way it was overseen, gives a million opportunities for appeal.
And we'll see what happens, because we're still in Texas. It's still the South. And they were acting like the old South to me. I felt like, it was the plantation days and the slave catchers got another one of our kids. That's how it felt to me. Dr. Melina Abdullah is our guest. There are things we can do. There are things we should know. We'll get to all of that after news, traffic, and sports, only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator Mark Warner is criticizing President Trump's choice for acting director of national intelligence.
Most all of my Republican colleagues have agreed, called him out. I'm sure there's anyone that said this guy is qualified.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the Virginia Democrat called Bill Pulte grossly unqualified. A New York jury has convicted a man of manslaughter as a hate crime in the killing of black dancer O'Shea Sibley. Dimitri Popov was also found guilty on other charges, though acquitted of murder as a hate crime. Sentencing is set for June 30th, bringing some closure to Sibley's family and the LGBTQ+ community. And Jay-Z is headed back to the stage with a series of major shows. He's set to perform a 30th anniversary concert at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on October 23rd, along with a Paris show on September 10th and a 3-night run at Yankee Stadium in July. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the city at the all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just an easy drive from downtown LA. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. Enjoy live entertainment and exceptional dining. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams and her doubles partner Victoria Mboko are back in action Thursday in the quarterfinals of the HSBC Championships in London. Serena kicked off her comeback with an opening serious about playing again. The Compton native has already agreed to play in the Berlin Tennis Open next week in Germany. The HSBC Championships is Serena's first competition since she retired in 2022. LeBron is on the cover of this month's Time magazine. The publication named LeBron their Athlete of the Century. LeBron is featured in Time's special issue, The 100 Most Influential People in Sports. Dodger star Shohei Ohtani made the list. Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight. The New York Knicks are up 2-1 over San Antonio in the best of 7. 5 p.m. tip-off on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. It's high time that we say the quiet part out loud about what we consider a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the people of South Los Angeles. Destination Crenshaw, or as I call it, Procrastination Crenshaw, was supposed to be a 1.3-mile celebration of Black Los Angeles. Pocket parks, commissioned art, a cultural corridor along Crenshaw Boulevard, stretching from our studios in Leimert Park down to Nipsey Hussle Square. It was set to complete in 2022. That's right, 2022. We are now in 2026, and the Crenshaw community is still waiting. A grand opening was announced for February 2024. That date passed with not a single artwork installed. Then we were promised that construction would be completed by the end of 2024. That date came and went. Our understanding is that as of last fall, the 8th Council District Office was still scrambling to raise additional monies just to restart the project, which has been paused again and again. But here's what makes my blood boil. City officials had the nerve to tell this community the delays are, quote, a necessary inconvenience, close quote. A necessary inconvenience? First of all, who you talking to? Second, go tell that to the black business owners who have been coping with construction chaos, breathing dust, enduring years of road closures and the scarcity of available parking, confronting unsanitary conditions, losing customers and revenue, all while the project they were promised still sits unfinished. They wouldn't let a project sit this long in any other part of this city. And for what it's worth, our elected official just happens to be the president of the LA City Council. Meanwhile, the city is laser focused on sprucing things up for the World Cup and the Olympics. Please, if this corridor were in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, it would have been completed on time, on budget, and on the cover of every magazine in town. The Crenshaw community deserves better. They deserve the truth, and they deserve what was promised to them. Now, right now. Not when it's convenient, not when the cameras are rolling for the Olympics. Now, this isn't incompetence, this is a pattern. And at some point, neglect becomes a decision. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talk 1580. We're talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah. Boy, there's just a lot of stuff, crazy stuff going on around here today, but we are getting it together. Okay, so we got a bunch of questions here for you, Dr. Melina Abdullah, in the chat regarding this case, Karmelo Anthony. Brenda Murray wants to know, how is it that his attorney didn't push to have some black jurors, and why didn't they try to get a change of venue?
I don't know. So I'm not an attorney. I'll say that the idea that you could have a jury, and we were there from the first day of jury screening. There were about 500 people at that courthouse. They said that they were notified by text. There were some black people among them. There were some black people even when it came to the questioning, I think they call it voir dire of potential jurors. All of those jurors were struck. All the potential black jurors were struck. I don't know why the attorney did not contest it in the way that he should have. I don't know why they allowed this judge to be the presiding judge over this case. He's known to be a racist. He's known to be a right-wing conservative. You can look him up. I just Googled him by myself and looked up who he was. He's one of the absolute worst judges possible to preside over a case like this. I don't know why they didn't make all those filings and get the case changed. Collin County is also known to be a very, very racist part of Texas. You could feel the racism in the air. And
yeah, I mean, I could feel it through my phone. I mean, that one January 6th coup guy was yelling about he should be hanging from a tree. But the crazy thing was, I defended him on Instagram, and all these white supremacists were jumping in my thread talking about he should, this is not self-defense. He's a murderer, and all these racist tropes and memes and things. I don't know. It's easy to be an armchair attorney, but folks are saying here, why didn't he have someone like Ben Crump? I mean, I don't think Ben Crump can do every single case, but also, the I don't know. From the outside looking in, the defense didn't seem that robust. They didn't call that many witnesses. I wanted to see teachers, coaches. I would like them to have forced that other twin to testify. You know what I mean? What about more character witness? I'm not an attorney either, but it seems like they rested pretty quick.
Very quick. Yeah, it didn't seem like the best case that was put on to me either. And I don't know the situation when we talk about how racist the setting was. Let me say that what was captured on camera about what the white supremacists were saying and doing was only the tip of the iceberg. That sitting there in that, both when I was inside the courthouse the first day, as well as for the rest of the trial when we were in the parking lot essentially holding vigil, we were repeatedly approached by white supremacists who were saying that not only should Karmelo be hanging, his family should be hanging, we should be hanging. They were making monkey noises. They were driving up to us, calling us all kinds of N's and black B's. They were getting in the faces, especially of the women. It is a racist space. Half the cars in the parking lot had Confederate flags and white supremacist stickers.
Wow. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not subtle at all. But did you feel like you guys were in danger? I mean, you said driving up to you. It sounds threatening.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday, we chose to take a space way at the back of the parking lot. And so what it kind of shook out to be is that his side would be right in front of the courthouse, and all the black folks were at the back of the bus, right? So we were all the way at the back, and we found shade underneath the tree, and we opened every morning with prayer. There was a few situations yesterday where a white supremacist, came into our space with a camera, provoking us, antagonizing us, calling us names, and saying he makes money off of this. And it was very, very difficult to pull people in and say, do not take the bait. There were 2 trucks that drove up to where we were sitting, made monkey noises, called us names. This is what was happening in the parking lot. So this is the constant setting that we're talking about when we talk about Collin County, Texas.
Yeah, and it's against this setting that a 19-year-old child is sentenced to 35 years in prison. And to me, this might seem speculative or hyperbolic, but I feel like that crowd wishes they could take every black boy from 16 to 54. Take their, adult reproductive earning years away from them. That's the feeling that I got. There's just no words. There's no justification. We're taught that we get to defend ourselves, and he did, and now he's having his whole life, not his whole life, but a lot of his life taken away from him. And that, I see that there's the Give, Send, Go hasn't reached their goal, but they are, at least people are donating. So people can go to Give, Send, Go, help Karmelo with the K. If they want to donate, Molly Bell is asking, is there anything else we can do?
I think donating is really powerful. It's really important. You have we don't have a right to appeal. So there's no free legal help for appeals. This case is ripe for appeal. When we think about, again, the judge assigned, the restrictions imposed. So these are all questions of law. The idea that there's no cameras in the courtroom, the gag orders that were placed, no black people on the jury, the way in which people were not formally admonished, but informally admonished for even wearing colors inside the courthouse. So we all dressed in purple because it's Karmelo's favorite color. People were told you can't wear purple here, right? The way that all of that happened, these are all grounds for appeal. There is no automatic funding for appeal. So we have to help fund that appeal. So donating is really important. But since Molly Bell is asking, I also want to say, Molly Bell, do your thing. Prayer warriors, we need you. And I don't mean that weak prayer. I mean that real warrior prayer. We need you to pray for Karmelo's protection. I want us to, if we have folks inside the prisons, make sure those brothers keep Karmelo safe. Keep Karmelo safe. Keep his family safe. There's so much that can be done, and continue to, we as Black Lives Matter Grassroots also know that what happened to Karmelo happens all around this country every day. And we absolutely have to dismantle a system that has never given black people justice. We have to say that children should never be tried as adults. If you can't vote, how do you get sent to prison for 35 years?
No incarceration without representation, for sure.
That's right. That's right. So we need people to plug into movement more as well.
I mean, the fact is also they're not adults. You can call a dog a cat, like KRS-One said, but that doesn't make them a cat. You can call a kitten a muffin. That doesn't make them a biscuit. Like, they're not adults. They're kids. So that's what science says. The other question in the chat is, how do we best tell Karmelo Anthony's story?
I think just keep saying it. Keep talking about this child. I also want us to think about, as we encourage our children to be the best human beings they can be, as we nurture them, as we help them with their homework, as his parents did, as we do what the world says we should do and what our hearts tell us to do. His parents love each other. and they love their children, and they're incredible people, and they are prayers, and they go to church, and they contribute to the world around them. As we do that, we also have to know that being perfect did not save Karmelo. It did not save Andrew Joseph III. It didn't save any of our children. So the answer is really the system that preys on our children. No matter how good they are, the system will chew them up, so we have to attack the system.
I mean, for me, it's also a really good reminder that reform ain't it, because the tinkering around the edges is not moving the needle in any of these extreme situations where we're dealing with the structural racism of this country allowing this. Now, speaking about rumors, there's a photo going around the internet, and some folks are questioning whether it's real or not, of the judge with the district attorney and the guy, one of the twins, the guy that died, Austin Metcalf's father. If that's the case, that would seem like it would be another grounds for appeal, because they look, in that photo, if real, they look awfully cozy.
Yeah, I saw the photo, and I spoke about the photo actually when we did the wrap-up yesterday. And it seems like it's a real photo, but because it's being questioned, we haven't reposted it. I will say I think it's near impossible in a place like Collin County, Texas, which is not a big place, that they don't know each other. It seems that they're in the same circles. And I keep thinking about all these ways in which systems conspire. So remember Ahmaud Arbery, right? When the killers of Ahmaud Arbery were absolutely entangled with the DA, with the judges. I think that you probably have the same situation in this place, Collin County, Texas, which is a racist place, but it's also a small place. You could feel the racism just bubbling up from the sidewalk.
Yeah, I've been in places such as that, and it is palpable. We're talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah. You want to tap in, go to blmgrassroots.org, or you can go to BLM Grassroots on any of the social media platforms. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward. Free Karmelo. KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Did you know that $60 billion are lost every year to Medicare fraud?
If someone has been a victim of healthcare fraud, the more we talk about that this occurs, older adults will feel more comfortable about sharing their experience.
It's not about someone not being smart enough or not paying enough attention. Falling victim to fraud can happen to anyone.
If I've been scammed, if I've experienced it, and I'm angry about it, and I want to do something about it, then I have an opportunity to volunteer and share with other people, here's what happened to me, but it doesn't have to happen to you.
Medicare fraud hurts people, it hurts Medicare, and we need your help to make a difference.
It's powerful to be able to address an issue like Medicare fraud, and being a volunteer for SMP gives you that power to do it.
If you have passion and dedication and want to be of service, we'd love to have you join our team.
For more information or to volunteer, visit californiasmp.org.
Knock, knock, Capital One Bank guy.
Wow, Charles Barkley?
I just moved into the neighborhood. Can I borrow some Wi-Fi?
Sure, Chuck. That's what the Capital One Cafe is here for, open 7 days a week.
Oh, can I use your ATM? My dog walker only takes cash.
Anything for a neighbor.
Can I try the catchphrase?
Sure, take it for a spin.
There's no fees and minimums on Capital One checking accounts.
Nice, Chuck. I'll take it from here. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Visit CapitalOne.com/bankguide for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Dr. Melina Abdullah is my guest. You can hear her, by the way, Saturday mornings around here from 8 to 10. This is Not a Drill, a Black Lives Matter grassroots show. And we're talking this morning about Karmelo Anthony. I am sure by now you've heard he was convicted on yesterday of murder, sentenced to 35 years in prison, tried as an adult. And you can find out more if you're not familiar or you just want to see. Go to freecarmelo.net, freecarmelo.net. You can also go to Give, Send, Go and find the place, the site to donate. Dr. Abdullah, Black Lives Matter Grassroots always has calls to action. What are some of those?
Sure, of course, follow BLM Grassroots on all social media. And today is Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we protest in front of the district attorney's office. Today, I want you to think about this as a Free Karmelo action, right? We want to think about the role of district attorneys like Nathan Hockman right here in Los Angeles in prosecuting our children as adults. I think sitting in studio with you today is Prince Akili, who was 15 years old when he was tried and put in prison for years using something called enhancements, which Nathan Hockman has reinstated. And so we got to also, what's the saying, think globally, act locally, that in many ways Nathan Hockman is an extension of what happened to Karmelo Anthony. We have to make sure that we take action. We have to make sure that we organize. You can meet us today at 4 o'clock at 211 West Temple, 211 West Temple. Free Karmelo, wear purple if you have it. And make sure that you plug in. Again, freecarmelo.net is the site that we built exclusively for actions and organizing around Karmelo Anthony. It's also a click on our website at blmgrassroots.org. grassroots.org. But plug in, and then also let this be a rethinking of the criminal justice system. If you thought we could have faith and trust in a criminal system of injustice, let this be a really terrible reminder of how the system treats our Black children.
Yeah, it's very well said. Free Karmelo. I will be on your campus tomorrow, Dr. Abdullah. I will be at Cal State LA. There's a big gathering, I'm sure you'll be at it as well, of CSU folks, CSU leadership to celebrate Juneteenth. So I'll be there, and maybe I'll see you out there. I hope so.
Well, now that I know you're there, that gives me a reason to go.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they have some pretty great panelists, and they're going to stream it for all the CSU. So if you're a student or a teacher or faculty at Cal State system, I graduated from SF State, then you can tap in. If not, you have to wait till afterwards, and you can see the stream.
Yes. And please plug in there and everywhere. So again, BLMgrassroots.org and BLM Grassroots on all social media. We'll be doing some Juneteenth stuff on Juneteenth. So looking forward to seeing y'all on the Domino's table for that. And organizing. This Sunday, we have our organizing meeting for Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. People are all welcome. There'll be really, really good food, and it's an opportunity for us to organize. That's Sunday, 7 p.m. at our Center for Black Power, 3423 West 43rd Place. Free groceries to take home, too, but organize with us and come have dinner with us, and let's build towards the world that we want, need, and deserve.
Dr. Melina Abdullah, thank you.
Thank you.
News, traffic, and sports, and it's Wealth Building Wednesday, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator Mark Warner is criticizing President Trump's choice for acting director of national intelligence.
Most all of my Republican colleagues have agreed and called him out. Nobody, I'm sure there's anyone that said this guy is qualified.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the Virginia Democrat called Bill Pulte grossly unqualified. A New York jury has convicted a man of manslaughter as a hate crime in the killing of black dancer O'Shea Sibley. Dimitri Popov was also found guilty on other charges, though acquitted of murder as a hate crime. Sentencing is set for June 30th, bringing some closure to Sibley's family and the LGBTQ+ community. And Jay-Z is headed back to the stage with a series of major shows. He's set to perform a 30th anniversary concert at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on October 23rd, along with a Paris show on September 10th and a 3-night run at Yankee Stadium in July. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the city at the all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just an easy drive from downtown LA. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. Enjoy live entertainment and exceptional dining. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with